Hi, I'm Natalia Nicholson, founder of Women in Digital Business, where we empower underrepresented women to thrive in the digital world. Welcome to the Women in Digital Business tutorials. My name is Natalia Nicholson and I am the founder of Women in Digital Business. Today I really want to look at female leadership and inspiration. As women, I run a women-led community, and I know many of you do, some of you don't, but I think inspiring women and inspiring people is at the core of what we do as content creators. Our content there is to inspire others into action, to really be able to help them get ahead in whatever it is that they want to do in whatever capacity, because that can look like many different things. But inspiration is really, really key. One of the things we do here at Women in Digital Business is we have a whole podcast called The Spotlight Hustle. Season 1 is available here on YouTube. Please do go and check it out. But the reason why we really wanted to do that, I really wanted to create content that could inspire other women, especially Black women. We don't see ourselves in the droves and very often of people that have really reached it as role models. I'm 46 at the filming of this video, and my role models were Oprah Winfrey for a long time, then it was Michelle Obama. There isn't a pool, but the online world has opened up a big pool. I didn't really understand how many other role models are out there. When I say role models, people that I aspire to want to be like. I don't want to be them, let's be very clear about that. And also just people, women that I know come from similar backgrounds from me or had similar blueprints to myself, and just seeing them be able to get to where I want to be at in terms of the things that I want out of life. I want to be able to create wealth so I can spread wealth. Okay, there's a big difference between money and wealth, and I think the relationship Black women have with money, definitely for myself I can speak for, has been a turbulent journey. So it's really important that me seeing those similarities in other women and they're at where I want to be at, it's huge. It makes me know I can do this. It makes me know the sweat, blood and tears are worth it. It lets me know for every time something's not quite going right and it just feels like I can't catch a breath, or it's just always one thing after another. Not to mention all the other areas of life outside of business, wanting to go on holidays, lifestyle, living a particular life, having children, making sure that they're getting everything that they need. You're responsible for nurturing these young people's minds, to running my house, to looking after my mum, to being community leaders with the things that I do, wanting other people to prosper and be better. It's a lot. And when there's other women that have got those same circumstances, and there's things that you can relate on, and they're where you're heading towards on your journey, you want to hear more stories like that. I want to be inspired. It gives me that grit, that tenacity. It gives me the fight back. It gives me my mojo back. It makes me know that I'm getting up every day, and what am I taking this all for? Because I know I'm going to get there. That belief becomes easier. So I think inspiration is really, really important, and we do it in our community through Spotlight Hustle. We've also got a newsletter, incredibly valuable, and it's a lot of content to produce, ladies. Our newsletter has got a spotlight feature of a female that is really inspirational, a story that we can relate to, and just talking about the realness of where we come from and what that journey was like and where we are now. Someone gets featured every single week to really demonstrate that. We've also got a book of the week. We've also got a TEDx of the week, a TED Talk of the week, to really help you through words, through visual aids. Shakespeare says what was on the screen of your mind is what about to happen. So we try to give you books, words, wisdom, video and content that's really going to feed and inspire you. And really, that's what you should be doing for your audience as well. You really want to be able to inspire them. And I think one of the great things about when you've got everything automated and you've got a software to be able to build your strategy out. Number one, it's essential. This digital age, I think if you don't start working like that, we're simply just going to be left behind. There's a way that the next generation coming in, and the world as we see it now, expects to see information that builds trust. So it's really important that we're inspiring. Again, I've touched on it before, the brand and branding consistency, and the look, the feel, the style, what you stand for, your tonality, all of that is just congruent and consistent in absolutely everything that you do. Okay? And I think to inspire, that has to be at the root of it. But again, when you've got that automation and you've got a strategy implemented and it's automated through technology, it kind of gives you the breathing space to actually make sure, am I inspiring? What is inspiring to my audience? Because it's very easy to just think, oh, this post is inspiring. We'll just put daily quotes out every day or every week because that's what people like. That's social media done and signed off. That's, the posts I'm putting out in my community. That's what we're doing, the email marketing. And it's very easy to build a strategy out and just say, yep, tick, 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 and it's a tick box. The problem with that is that care and thought doesn't go into it. And when the care and thought doesn't go into it, that's when we start to lose the human element. Okay, that's when it starts to become tech, automation, and just send this message here, and it becomes very robotic. And that's how you will lose a community, because that's an audience. Someone that's just on the conveyor belt. A community, these are real people, these are humans, these are people that look up to you, that are looking to their peers in the community because they can relate to and they hold them up. With inspiration comes motivation as well. It's really important that you automate the process so you can see clearly enough to understand within the automation, what's the human to human, what's the strategy, what is it that inspires my audience, what do they need right now? Because you can have a strategy, but it can also be affected by what I call pest factors. Sorry. It can also be affected by what I call pest factors: political, economical, sociological, and technological, and things that you can't control. Okay, so, when the world says you've got to stay in because there's a deadly virus around and COVID interacts, you can't really get around that. So when you're inspiring and motivating your audience, you're now going to have to take, a big pandemic. And yes, that's a huge example, but makes sense. So in terms of really being able to build an audience that's going to inspire, you do have to think about all the different things that could be going around your prospect audience or community members' mind, life of where they are at the moment. Then, like I said, there's things we have control over, there's things that we don't, but it's always making sure that we're keeping in tune with the vibration of our community to really make sure that we can provide content that is going to inspire and it is going to motivate. So I really want you to be able to think about that, because there's so many digital tools that can really help you understand, okay, what type of content is it that I need? Okay, and a lot of these things can be plugged into your main software. So that's why I'm saying, when you're always building out your strategy and funnel, there's so many softwares that you can use for social media, for social listening, to gain more about your audience, understand what's trending out there, and really make sure you're putting content together that is going to inspire and motivate. So software is a big part of how you're really going to get your strategy working. It can give you the breath to be able to think about things because everything's automated and give you less to think about. But at the same time, you don't want to overuse it because you don't want your content to become so mechanical that it's out of touch and it's not actually really connecting with your audience. So again, when I am building out funnels, one of my two favorite softwares, actually, it's not just Kajabi, it's also ClickFunnels. If you research them, you'll find a lot of articles that position them as rivals. I don't find them rivals. I've got clients that use ClickFunnels. I've got clients that use Kajabi. We are a community website, and that community function of Kajabi is absolutely amazing. But ClickFunnels, the marketing power that it will give you to really be able to use data and really plug the holes in your funnel and bottlenecks. For those of you who are marketeers, you get exactly what I mean. For those of you who maybe aren't marketeers, what I mean by the holes in the funnel is that once you've built out a strategy and you implement it, the data's going to show you, okay, what am I doing right? What lead magnet works best? What's the click-through rate on these email newsletters? They're not performing that well. Why is it not performing that well? Is it the messaging? Is it the branding? But by tracking everything, you start to build a picture of, okay, what's wrong? Let's start doing more of the things that are right, less of the things that you're doing wrong. What happens is you don't start losing as much money, because for every time you keep tweaking your strategy and it starts to work, is the more you'll see your conversion numbers are going to increase. So that's what we mean by plugging the holes in the funnel. You might hear me say you're leaving money on the table. I know some of you know this, no offense, not teaching you how to suck eggs, but we're all coming from different directions. Okay, so when we are looking at the technology, we just don't want So technology can make things more efficient, more affordable, give us a flow and automate everything so it's less work, giving us more time to think strategically. But don't let it take over so much that you start using it, so you start to do the automation so much you take the human element out of it. And one of the things that's really going to help you do that is definitely the Kajabi support. And it's not just a Kajabi thing, like I said. I also absolutely love using ClickFunnels. A little bit more technical, you really want to ramp your marketing up and make sure that you want all those holes are plugged and you're practically leaving no money on the table. That's where ClickFunnels can be really, really powerful. And over the years, it's developed and it's turned into much more of a umbrella product for membership sites where you want to put content inside. But it's an excellent marketing strategy tool to make sure that you're optimizing and converting at the highest on every single stage of your customer journey. So software is important, okay? But for you to have that inspirational community, you need your community to be inspirational as well. And I guess what I'm saying is I can't think of two better softwares, either ClickFunnels or Kajabi, whichever one your tribe is, to be able to find that inspiration to make sure that you can build up your community with the software and use it right with your strategy. If there are ever two softwares, these two. And you're going to come across softwares that are newer and cheaper and you can do it half the price. But these guys have been around for a long time. They have got thousands and thousands of success stories of people that have used the software and gone from just not getting any traction at all to 6-7 figures, real life stories. They've got masterminds that you've got to have a turnover. I think one of them is over like 7 million to be able to join. So this is you hanging out with the big boys. And hanging out with the big boys in software means that you're going to learn strategies, build on the strategies once you really understand how to build a funnel out, and actually be able to really craft it and bring that your business to a next level because you've got the support. You know, one of the things that I would say in the last couple of years I'm really aware of, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're hanging out in the wrong room. You want to be in a room with people that have done it so you can see it. The same thing I'm speaking about in this video about inspiration and motivation. Your softwares and your software's community can really offer you that. Don't be frightened of them. So if you want to find out more about what software is going to work with you, how to really build an inspiring audience, how to inspire, how to use technology, how to use the human approach, and really just be able to drill a strategy down that's going to work for your business, please do make sure you join our community. Our community at the bare minimum is going to offer you masterclasses, a podcast you can find on this YouTube channel as well. Please remember to subscribe. Within our community, you're going to find mentoring from Dell. You're going to find funding and grant consultations for those of you that really need funding to get your business to where it needs to be. Okay, you're going to have conversations, meet like-minded people, and that's what I can think of off the top of my head at a bare minimum. And you know, if you're really serious about building out a strategy and really taking your business through the ringers and really figuring out how you're going to get from where you are to where you want to be and building out a funnel that's really going to be able to build a community that's going to get to know, like, trust you and buy from you again and again and again. Once you join the community, please make sure you join the waitlist for our Empower Her program. It's done with me. We only take 10 to 12 women through, so you know, we make sure we keep that human to human connection we speak about, and it only opens up every quarter. So make sure you come in and you join the waitlist. But like I said, at a bare minimum, we offer a lot of support. We recognise that underrepresented women and black women especially get the least help and support, yet we're the group that contributes to economies more than any other group globally. Okay, you know, and within our community, we need to see more ownership. We need to see legacy brands. The next generation can go on and make sure that it's not just a seat on the table that we've got, but, you know, we're up there with our own organisations. Okay, so I look forward to seeing you inside the Women in Digital Business community. It was an absolute pleasure. Take care.